Feels like a result and a performance that will really make the rest of the league sit up and take notice. Just how good were Liverpool today?
Well, we were quite good in front, but defensively, I think we need to improve as a team, not just individual. But consider 3 goals is quite hard, and I think Virgil and Ali will speak better than me in that. But yeah, it's quite a good result, and hopefully we just keep going.
Did you always know coming here with the types of games they've had, particularly recently, that it might be that sort of crazy type of match?
Yeah, I think we expected the way they played, just like they opened the game and they enjoy the football. As you can see, the game is really tough physically and also mentally. You have to be always in the game. So, yeah, I'm glad that we managed to win the game.
Why is it that type of game with them? Is it a lot to do with how they press and try to be aggressive, but it also gives you space the other end?
They have the way they play, that they don't change it much. It's quite intensity, and you can see City come here struggle. Some other team come here struggling, but I'm glad that we managed to win the game, because they really play a very intense game.
So 2 goals, also an assist. It means you're the first player in Premier League history to get to 10 goals and 10 assists before Christmas. I feel like every time I interview there's some sort of record, but that means something to you?
Of course. I didn't think about it before the game, to be fair, but I'm glad that I've done it a few times. So yeah, and something make me happy and proud. I'll just keep working hard.
And maybe more important than that, well, actually, definitely more important than that, you're now 4th on the all-time list of Liverpool goal scorers. Now that must mean something.
Of course, it's something great to achieve. It's such a big club like Liverpool. But again, the most important thing is we won the game, and to have that achievement is great.
How high can you get on that list? I had a little look before you walked in. Ian Rush is, I think it's 117 away. I mean, you need to stay a bit longer, to be honest. But
I don't know how he scored that many goals, to be fair. I think the football in that time was quite 7 against 7. It wasn't really 11 against 11, but he's a great legend for the club, and we have a good contact. So whatever I'm going to end my career with, I'm happy about it. So let's see.
I'm just going to ask you this. Is there any update on your situation, Mo?
No.
Nothing you can say. All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're 10 days away from the 1st of January when he can talk to other clubs, but that is not on Mo Salah's agenda to talk about today. This certainly is. He's gone above Billy Little. That is an extraordinary achievement, Jamie.
Unbelievable, it really is. He's just an absolute phenomenon. I mean, I think I said a few weeks ago, didn't I? He's probably the top 5 players, I would say, to ever play for Liverpool Football Club. And let's not forget, Liverpool are, the most successful team in this country. We've had some legendary players, and he's right up there with the best of them.
And you also had him, I think, as one of your best attacking players in Premier League histrry. We did that last Monday, do you remember?
Week, yeah. It might get
what did you have him as, number 3?
All the Salah fans back on my side now, maybe, but we'll see. But no, listen, him, the goalkeeper, and I think Virgil van Dijk, not just this season, since they've come in, they've completely transformed what Liverpool are, and every season you go into it now thinking Liverpool can compete in terms of challenging for the Premier League and challenging for the Champions League.
Jamie, what do you think we learnt about Liverpool today?
The difficulty when you try to analyse a game when you watch Tottenham is you're playing against the back four. When you look at Tottenham's back four with Dragos and Archie Gray, I felt really sorry for Archie Gray. He's 18. He's played right back for Leeds at times, but predominantly a central midfield player. He gets exposed to playing against one of the best front threes in European football. Dragos, who's you think is more of a centre back. You got left back hasn't played a lot of football, so it wasn't their best back four. But what Liverpool did is they just exploited it, exposed every single weakness that they had. It was absolutely incredible. It was relentless at times. The amount of chances, the big chances they had to score, they could have scored 10 goals with ease today, and they just made Spurs look so inadequate. And I think we're talking about a stat that Spurs haven't lost by more than 1 goal in the Premier League this season. Yeah. Until today, I had no idea. That's an incredible stat. But still, to put the level in and the intensity and the opportunities that Liverpool threw up was just amazing. And the intensity, Jamie said it, they're a scary proposition right now, and if they can keep this going at this level, they're going to be incredibly hard to stop.
Did you feel a bit sorry for Spurs, certainly their defenders?
Yeah, I certainly did. And you know what? Spurs, at the start of the season, we were talking about them being a top 4 side. And, OK, they've had the injuries and they've had a few problems, like a lot of teams this season. But if you want to be up there challenging the Liverpools and the Man Cities and the Arsenals and the Chelseas, they saw today what it's about. They saw today what that's all about.
Which is
and
what?
They're a long way away from it at the moment. You know, and that's no disrespect. Andrew's got a lot to do. They have entertained this season at times. We've come here and they've played some outstanding football when they've got their best first 11. When they haven't got their first 11, then they're a pretty average side.
I think the problem for him, Les, is most managers find them really entertaining as well.
Yeah, I mean...
Opposition, that is.
What Arne was saying...
That's the problem.
What Arne was saying at the beginning, like, you know, they're attacking football, they're great, they're this, that and the other, because he knew what he was coming there to do. He knew what he was coming up against, and he knew the opportunities that Liverpool would get to that.
That press conference from Slot on Friday was hilarious. I mean, people thought he was defending Postecoglou. I don't believe that for 1 minute. Like he was actually...
There is a managers' union, Jamie.
I know, but listen, but I actually thought he went too far and it was too obvious. You know, he was desperate for Tottenham to play exactly the same way as they played against Manchester United, and they did, and Liverpool could have scored 10. So what he said in that press conference, honestly, everyone I spoke to, Liverpool supporters, it was obvious.
But you all said it before the game, he's not going to change.
No, he's absolutely not. But I think that... And he gets a lot of stick, and we're all in for him at the moment. And some of the things, the decisions he makes, I'm amazed that when he stands in his technical area, that maybe he doesn't just tweak it and say to Pedro Porro, "Look, hold on, we'll just hang on to what we got here. Let's get to half time." Or it was Jed Spencer in that first half that goes running out into areas. Let's just get to 2-1. We've won the lottery. We're in this game still. So they're the little tweaks that he has to make. But I also think the players have to take some responsibility as well. There are certain times in a game when you see things are happening that you go, OK, maybe we've got a really inexperienced back four. Maybe as a midfield player, I won't go charging out. Maybe if someone runs into the box, I might stop him and I might track him rather than putting pressure on an 18-year-old Archie Gray. The first goal's a great example of it. You know, I think that perhaps Salah really could have done a little bit more just to help his defence. Yes, it's world-class delivery. Yes, it's a fantastic header. But these are the little details that you have to do as a midfield player. They work it really well. They get it out to... You know, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's got that wand of a right foot. The delivery is incredible. It's absolutely unstoppable. But one thing that happens here, Basuma has got Diaz there, then Papsar comes into the picture. Now, that now becomes your man. Do not let him wander into the box, because you can see Dragosan's got a man, you can see Archie Gray's got a man. As a midfield player, that's your responsibility. Track him, follow him, and make sure that this doesn't happen. Because once Trent's on the ball, you also have to acknowledge the man that's on the ball is one of the best in the world at doing that. I blame him. I blame Salah. He's got to identify that and track him, because that delivery is unbelievable. If he goes with him, he can make it get body on it, and it might make a difference.
Still a brilliant header.
Absolutely.
It's a great header. And, you know, when we're sitting here talking about making tweaks, we're not saying to Postecoglou, listen, you've got to be more defensive, you've got to be this, that. We're just saying that there's obviously obvious errors that are occurring week in, week out. And from times, it was one pass and Liverpool were in. One ball and Liverpool was in. That can't be right if games of football. I know you want to play on that front foot and you want to be attacking. And we're not saying don't be attacking, but it's costing you at the moment.
Was that the issue? Was it more a case of today of Liverpool's quality just being too much for Spurs?
Yeah, I think Liverpool were excellent today, and it felt like a statement performance, a performance of champions-elect, if you like. And I go back to what Liverpool did a few years ago at Leicester when they went on to win the title. And we were watching the game up here and they were so dominant, but even at 1-0 you're thinking they need the second goal just to give them that little bit of a buffer. So this was a really important goal, because it just being complete domination from minute 1 to 36, and that was the first time they had that real bit of breathing space. But yeah, listen, it could have been anything today. And in some ways, the scoreline really flatters Tottenham. It's probably one when you get out of it, you get home, if you're a player and think that could have been an awful lot worse.
Spurs' goal was a surprise, wasn't it, before half-time?
It was, and as the time it came in, like I said, Liverpool was so dominant at the time. Ball just comes in there, McAllister was a loose on his touch there, and, you know, Kulusevski closes him down. Maddison gets this, and you think, wow, against the run of play, Tottenham scored a goal here. What they need to do is, 31st minute, let's just keep it tight. Let's go in. Let's get to the bell at 2-1, and then we'll go in and we'll have a chat about it.
What does that actually look like? Well, we've referenced it a couple of times. What does that mean in the 5 minutes after this goal goes in?
You just got to keep it tight. You just got to say, we've got ourselves back into the game against the run of play. Let's make sure we don't give something away here.
But look at this. Look at your left back going to press. You don't do that. You stay at left back. Archie Gray gets dragged across. Dragosan's in no man's land. And before you know it, it's 3v2. It's situations like that. That doesn't mean don't be attacking, as Les is saying. It means use your brain. That comes
is that though, the manager saying, look, we could go 2-2 before half-time?
No,
if he wins it there.
He shouldn't be. Because if anyone's going to score another goal and you continue playing like that. It's Liverpool. You need to make sure you get in at half-time, at 2-1, and then go from there, because Tottenham had been absolutely battered. To make that decision as a left-back, and don't forget, it's not on the other side, it's on the side where the manager is as well. Now, you could say he just made a decision. He's just done it. But if your manager's been there for 18 months, those messages must be getting passed every single day. So if situations like that have happened in the past, he's maybe saying, yeah, do that. That's what I want you to do. That message is not in his head. That's not what he should do. He's never getting there. He's got to run 40 yards. He leaves a young 18-year-old kid at the back. You've got to look after a kid. He's not even a centre-back. He's 18. You do that a minute before after him. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's what we saw the other day.
Do you know what he does here? He forces Trent Alexander to play that pass. Because if he doesn't make that run in there, Arnold turns and he's got a little bit of time. But because he does that, he's now under pressure. He's just cleared these lines here. Dragison's too far away, doesn't make it, and the ball's in the back of your net.
And the other thing is as well, you've got to remember that this back four, it played together on Thursday night. It never plays together. So you can't say that, well, they've been coached to do that, because they haven't had any time to be coached since
But that's
Thursday.
the mentality of the team, though,
yes,
isn't it?
I know,
From the fullbacks to get
this is what we're trying to say, that there comes a time in a game when you just use your football intelligence and you just say, and somebody on that pitch has to just say, OK, let's just stay calm for a bit
They
here.
haven't got people like that on the pitch.
I know they haven't, but it's not. But that's where somebody has to do that, because that can't be worked on. Because Jed Spence predominantly plays on the right and he's playing on the left in this situation. He's just taken that decision upon himself. That's not. The manager's not
Jamie
told him
said
to
it's
do
on
that.
his side.
Yeah.
Can Ange Postecoglou in that moment shout no?
That's what I'm
Just
saying,
hold your run there.
Well, no, because he's made a decision himself. That's what I'm saying. So it's not always the manager. Like when he goes across Archie Gray, and then Dragosan, who's an experienced defender, tries to win a header, he's got no man's there. That's not. I mean, the manager can't say that's his fault. It's just bad defending as well.
What's happened there is they've obviously spoken about this, and they've said whenever Trent gets on the ball, we want you to close him down. But as you said, as a player, you've got to see, I'm 40 yards away from where he is now. I'm never getting to him. I'm never going to get there to affect him enough. And he doesn't. He just carries on going, because that's what he's been told in the dressing room. Whenever Alexander gets the ball, I want you to close him down. So he goes on his way, but he's never going to get there. And Alexander just turns and plays the ball in behind.
It goes back to what we said midweek, and I continue to say every time I watch Tottenham. It's the state of the game makes no difference. It's 2-1. It's a minute to half-time. Play differently. If that was the first 10 minutes of the game and it was 0-0, you're saying, OK, maybe we're pressing Liverpool. And you've got to deal with that at the back, because we want to be on the front foot. We want to press them. It's 2-1, a minute before half-time. You have to get to half-time.
It feels in some way like that goal almost sums up Tottenham right now.
Yeah.
It's organised chaos. There's no structure to that, and I just feel that when you're going to play, you've absolutely got no choice. You're giving yourself mountains to climb, because when Trent takes that ball with his left foot and plays it, he just lumps it. You cannot go from there. He's got his back to goal, and then Trent takes it inside and boot up the pitch, and all of a sudden they're through on your goal. That cannot happen.
One final look, just for the avoidance of any doubt that you might have.
Look, he got him there.
He's forced him to do this, because if he doesn't go in the manner that he does. Trent doesn't play that ball like that, and it's in the back.
So 3-1 at half-time, and shoulders are slumped, the body language around the stadium, the atmosphere has been sucked out of it again, just as Spurs had got a lifeline. Do you think there would have been a conversation, Jamie, in the Liverpool dressing room, to be more ruthless in the second half?
Oh, 100%. I think there would have been an element of the manager Slot at half-time frustrated that the game wasn't completely put to bed. And this was the goal that done it. I mean, I mentioned to the lads at half-time as well. The good thing about Liverpool in the first half was the fact that Salah hadn't scored, because Liverpool have probably been over-reliant on him this season. So it was nice to see other players get on the score sheet. But we know what Mo's like. He's just an absolute goal machine, a numbers machine. It's not just goals, it's assists as well. And we always know he's desperate to get on the score sheet, especially when there's other people scoring goals.
He looked devastated, actually, when
he
came
off.
off.
So good by Virgil, that. See, when the ball gets played long, Virgil just drops, gets himself in a good position, then straight away you're through. And then Salah makes a really good run in there. Slides it across. It just doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. It's like he's got it on remote control.
Was it just a case of decision-making when Liverpool kept getting into these positions?
Yeah,
just to pick them off.
And then, as we said, you feel sorry for Archie Gray. It's not his normal position, and he gets dragged out there, and unfortunately, the two passes and the ball.
Well, let's have a look at the goals that did put a little bit more of a gloss on it for Spurs, as Jamie said earlier, from a situation of 5-1 and wondering what it could be. They get at least a little bit of pride, Les, maybe?
Well, you was thinking that and we actually spoke about this and said all of a sudden if Spurs score one or score two, it looks like 5-3.
They scored great goals as well.
Great goal, that's a great ball in here to Solanke, lovely turn, and I thought it was a great chip, but it just gets a little flick off Van Dijk's head, and a great finish from Kulusevski. And then all of a sudden, gives everyone a bit of a lift. This comes out here. Great
Everyone
ball in by
halfway up the
Bergville.
stairs suddenly comes back.
And this is a great finish from Solanke. Great header from Johnson.
What makes it a good finish, this one, lads?
Because it's coming over his shoulder, and it's coming over Van Dijk's head. Look, just peels off him, keeps him there so he can't get to the ball. It's a great finish. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, OK, just short there. Just short.
What were you thinking then?
I'm thinking, go on, go and get another goal. And then this again.
Yeah, it's really good. Timing of the run. Liverpool did that a lot. You think of the gap cross earlier on, just timing of that run, the timing of the pass, just to make sure he's onside. And again, I think it was really good for Liverpool that Diaz got a couple of goals as well.
Harry Line, that one, Carol, wasn't it? The old Harry Line, third man run.
And we're watching the most efficient front line of the Premier League right now.
Yeah, but they've got options, haven't they? That's the thing. They can bring players on. You're bringing on Jota to make a difference. If you need Nunes, he can come on and add a bit of chaotic factor to the team. They've got so many different options that make them hard to stop. And with Salah scoring the goals and the assists that he's got, that's what you need. And I think that's probably the difference. If you look at what Arsenal and what Liverpool have more players that can come on and change the game. Arsenal just haven't got that strength in depth that Liverpool have.
Do you think that separates Liverpool from the rest, Jamie, that ability to get goals from so many different sources?
Yeah, you look at Liverpool's bench there, they're bringing Jota and Nunes on. They've got Chiesa who's still not up to speed. There's probably a lot more numbers there in terms of when you look at Arsenal. Unfortunately for them, Saka, we don't know how long he'll be out. But you think if Liverpool did lose Mo Salah, for instance, and they did for a time last season, they've probably got more options there to come off the bench and make a difference. I mean, there's no doubt Chelsea have got those options if you compare them. They're in the title race, of course, at this moment. But that is a worry if you're coming up against Liverpool's goals there.
It's an extraordinary record of form. If you go back 65 games, we mentioned this at the top, so we're going back to Klopp's penultimate season, that they finished unbeaten the last 10 games of that season, then lost only 4 games in his final season, and they get to this stage of the season with only 1 defeat this time. So that's 5 defeats in 65 games. The next best are Arsenal and Man City, who both lost 10 games across that period. And these are the players that have started the most games of those 65. And there's something that ties the top 3 on that list, certainly. Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold, as we know, all 3 whose contracts expire at the end of this season. And we have 9-10 days away, the possibility of any of those 3 players opening negotiations with a foreign club. You're shaking your head, Les.
Yeah, no, because we're talking about how brilliant Liverpool were going forward, and I'm looking at Van Dijk and I'm thinking it's just a Rolls Royce. Him and Gomez today were absolutely exceptional. Never really looked like under too much pressure in the 90 minutes, apart from the ball that goes over Virgil's head for Solanke's goal. Never put a foot wrong.
They haven't got to clean his kit, have they?
That's true. But is that one thing that could potentially derail their season if that becomes a problem?
What, the contract?
Those 3 players that have played more than anyone else across that period.
No, not really, because I say Virgil's always he doesn't look ever flustered or tired. He's in magnificent form. He never has to get out of second gear at times. So, I think if you look at what Trent does with the opportunities that he gets, you'd want Conor Bradley to come again, so just at times you can maybe play, because Conor plays at such a high level as well. And Salah's goals and assists, and if he's not on the pitch, you can see he gets angry. He wants to play as many games as he can, but they manage it so well with the sports science department now. They can make sure they get the correct minutes, and nothing seems to be affecting them. The contract talk doesn't seem to affect how they play. Sometimes when players are out of contract in the summer, it can affect them and maybe they don't put in the performances. The 3 of them are playing at such a high level.
You wrote this week in your column, Jamie, I noticed, about Trent Alexander-Arnold. You were quite strong in the fact that of why he should sign a new deal. Tell us.
I think it's more than a football decision in terms of whether it's money or trophies or your career. I think it's more about his legacy at Liverpool and how he's seen in the future. And I think I made the point a little bit, does he want to be seen as almost the way Steven Gerrard's seen? Or maybe Steve McManaman. Now, 2 great players for Liverpool. And I actually feel a little bit for Steve McManaman. He's a friend of mine. He was one of the best players or attacking midfield players in the Premier League in the mid-90s for Liverpool. He went to Real Madrid and won a couple of European Cups, but he's not absolutely adored by Liverpool supporters now, really. And I feel a little bit sad for that, really, because he probably deserves to be. But
I bet he's not that sad. He's won 2 Champions Leagues there, I think.
Yeah, but well, no problem then. But what I'm saying is, as a local player, I just think that feeling, it's a long time living back in the city and how you feel about your club. And Trent's been at Liverpool since he was 6 years of age, so he's been at the club 20 years. I don't think it'd be nice to almost, Liverpool supporters, whether you agree with it or not, to almost have a feeling of, oh, hang on, we're winning, we're going for the league, we're going for the Champions League, leaving on a free. What more do you want? Everything's here for you. So
I don't see it that way. I think that's...
What don't you see?
Well,
I can guarantee you Liverpool supporters will think that. Now, whether it affects
that's fine, but I don't think that should be the case, because I think it's not... Well, a couple of things in it. I think it's negligence from Liverpool that they've got them in this position. You shouldn't have 3 players of that quality to get to less than a year of a contract. So he's got... So if you're going to do that, then... You have to respect that he's going to have a decision to make. And if he's a young player that's given everything to the club, he's won the Champions League, he's won the Premier League, he's won every single trophy. If he wanted to go and try a different culture, do something different, go and play... If he wants to go to Man City or Man United, of course, that would, for me, you can't do that. Liverpool's my club, I was there 11 years. But if I was in that dressing room, I would turn around to him and go, I'd love you to sign, but you know what, good luck. If there's a chance to go to Real Madrid, how do you turn that down? And I think because he's a local lad, they shouldn't be put under that pressure. I think sensible Liverpool fans would say, you know what, you've given everything to this club. And in that period, they could have probably... He saved them a fortune, because they'd have had to buy 2 or 3 right-backs. Look what's happened to Manchester City. They've not had to buy a right-back in that time, and they've had Trent playing at such a high level, won everything. I don't see... If he wanted to go, he would... For me, he should go with everybody's blessing, because he's been unbelievable for that football club.
And my point being, he won't go with everyone's blessing. Now, whether you agree with the supporters or not, when you're a local player... Now, if Salah or Van Dijk went for free, they'd actually be saying, oh, brilliant, you've been great for the club. And they actually cost the club money. Trent didn't cost the club money. He's only going to be leaving for what he cost, which was nothing. But I go back to it again. Whether you're Steven Gerrard, Steve McManaman, Michael Owen, in those situations, there's different things that are expected of you as a local player. Now, you may think that's harsh and he's just another player in the dressing room. But as a local player, and I've been there as a local player, and I would never have had a move like that on the cards. But I think to leave Liverpool is difficult. Now, when I finished playing for Liverpool, I retired a year earlier than if I'd have played for another club, because it was Liverpool, because I didn't want to play and the fans would be going, oh my God, he's playing, get him out the team. So I wanted to leave in the right way. So they remembered me in a certain way. Now, if Trent Alexander-Arnold doesn't care about that, fine, no problem. But I think he will, if he stays at the club, remembered as one of the greatest players to ever play for the football club, and not far behind Steven Gerrard. If he doesn't, he won't be remembered like that. Now, if he doesn't care about that, that is fine. Yeah. But I'm only telling you what Liverpool supporters will think.
You get one career to get that opportunity.
The club he's with at the moment, though, are the best in the Premier League and the best in the Champions League.
But you can try to... How can you say, you've got to stay in one job?
I'm not saying
you get that opportunity.
I think where you're coming from, and when you're saying that, is if he leaves for nothing.
Yeah, 100%.
That's where it is. If a young player comes through the system...
How much money has he saved them in that period?
I know what you're saying, but what Liverpool also look at, we've put him on the map. We've given him this opportunity to do what he's done. And I get where you're coming from in terms of he's going to leave that football club for no money. And if you was to sell him now, what sort of money would you sell him for if someone was to come and pay for him?
That's not
his fault.
I know.
It's not his fault, but I'm understanding what you're saying. Why
so that is the frustration. That was a little bit of the thing.
Will be frustrated, but I don't agree that.
So your point really could sign a contract, sign a contract, and then leave.
If I was advising Trent, I would say in terms of it's not just leaving. I think people understand it about the Real Madrid, and Les makes a great point, and I should have made that as I did in the column. That a lot of it is the free transfer. That's a lot of it, and it was probably a little bit with McManaman, but people didn't really understand the Bosman thing really too much then. But it's that feeling that you're leaving us for nothing. Where's our money to replace you? Now, you might not agree with that, but it's just a fact. I would say sign a contract, have a decent buyout clause in there that's not ridiculous, and if Real Madrid wanted to buy you maybe in 12 months' time, 2 years' time,
Jamie, let's make the point that he has been given the opportunity. Should he not feel like he owes Liverpool something? Sign a new contract with a sensible buyout clause.
And he's saved them a fortune. I'm not
saying
that.
By the way, we're talking. This is my. But I'm talking purely just as a football person. Would have been the. I would have gone to you. You've got in this position. Liverpool should have got the contract sorted out. Well, you can't tell me, sign a contract. So if he gets injured, so he signs a year contract and he gets injured, then what happens? He's got an opportunity to go and get a 5-year contract or whatever at Real Madrid and try something different in his life. I've got total respect for whatever he wants to do because he's given everything to Liverpool. And my big point is, people say, well, they put him on the map. He saved them fortunes by not having to buy right backs of his quality.
It doesn't matter what we say. We can debate it or whatever.
I think you're being a bit unfair to him, though.
I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying I can understand what Jamie's saying in terms of the support.
I know the Liverpool supporters. Every day you're with them. Now, listen, I'm on the street to Liverpool and I know how they feel about it. Now, it doesn't matter whether we agree with that or not. I think if you've been at a football club since 6 years of age, you've been there for 20 years, when you're 40, 50, you want the club to, you still want to be one of those legends. People,
He'll still be a legend, though, won't he?
I know, but there'll be a feeling there.
If he goes to Man United, of course he wouldn't. But that's why he'll be a legend.
Michael Owen. Listen, the Michael Owen thing.
But I don't think it's unfair to even bring up Steve McManaman won 2 Champions League finals. Macca's incredible. What is like? If you ask Steve McManaman...
Something else you said there about negligence from the Liverpool board because 3 players have got to this stage.
Yeah, it shouldn't
You've
have
been
happened.
a director of football. I know you're going to return to that career very soon, Les.
I hope so.
Hopefully. Do you think that's negligence?
Yeah, I think if you've got players that you want to tie up, then you've got to, you now don't leave it to the last year of their contract. That's why people get tied up, 2 years in advance. 18 months is the most you leave it before you try and tie somebody up. If that player's adamant that he doesn't want to sign a contract, no matter what you're offering him, he's not going to sign that contract. And his idea is going to leave on a free transfer. There's not a lot you can do about that unless you try to sell him early. Now, like I said, I'm not saying he shouldn't leave Liverpool. I'm saying that I can understand the reasonings why the Liverpool fans will say, look, you know what, we've given this boy a platform and now he's gone and we're not getting no money for him. Now we've got, especially with the way things are nowadays with PSR and the financial fair play, if they ain't got money coming in for him, how do you replace him?
The interesting thing is, and I'm not just defending Liverpool on this, the structure of the club had moved away because Jurgen Klopp had that much control. And then as soon as Jurgen Klopp announced he was moving on, so I think that was probably about October, November last season. So Trent's got over 18 months to go. There's no way in the world Trent is going to sign a contract if he doesn't know who the manager is. Now, there was all that thing, who's the manager, whether it's going to be Alonso or different people. Now, I'm not having a go with them because every agent would have done exactly the same. But they were in a position where they could say, no, we're not ready to sign. No, we're not ready. We need to know who the new manager is. And then when the new manager comes in, it's a bit, are we going to be successful? I've got a lot of options out there. Now, the thing is, Liverpool have proven at this early stage to be looking like they could be really successful in terms of, top of the Premier League and got the Champions League. So Trent's advisors could use the situation that Liverpool found themselves in as a football club to, take advantage of his position.
Yeah, but can I just say one more thing? Because there's every chance he could stay as well. He might stay, and if he does, but I'm just saying, but we shouldn't say that you shouldn't do this or you should. It's his life. It's his opportunity. If he wants to go and play, he's good friends with Jude Bellingham. Going to Real Madrid, I think there's the only club in the world where I can totally get. My God, that's the biggest pull.
Let me put you in Liverpool's position now. You've got the money for one of those 3.
Only one. I'd go with Virgil.
He gets the contract.
He gets
despite his age.
Yeah, because he's just imperious and he's still playing at such a high level. I wouldn't want to lose any of them. But if you just said if one of them was to sign, because I think Liverpool have always had an ability. When I was there throughout the years where Rush goes and then Fowler comes along and then Owen comes along and then Torres comes along and then Suarez comes along and then Salah. They just seem to turn strikers into superstars. So they will find some, but I just don't know in world football where you could find someone just to replace Virgil. I hope. Listen, I want them all to stay. I do, but I just don't.
Liverpool fans do as well.
I do. I really do.
There might not be the money there.
Great for our
We're
league.
talking about PSR.
I've also got a lot of respect for someone if they want to go and try a different culture. I think good luck.
Who's your one, Jamie?
I'd probably say Van Dijk, but I'm pretty much certain Van Dijk and Salah will stay. The one worry is Trent because of the situation he finds himself in. But I'm certain the other two will sign. Yeah,
no, that's why I was shaking my head when you did the list and I saw Virgil at the top of it, and I mentioned his name straight away. For me, you know, the way he bosses that Liverpool back line and the way he's just so calm, he would be the one that I would be desperate to keep.
I'm sure every other team in the Premier League would love to have him as well, that is for sure, including Spurs. And we can hear now from the Tottenham dressing room. Young-Min's son is with Patrick Davison.
It's something really tough to lose at home like that. What did you make of the Spurs performance?
Yeah, very disappointed, obviously, the results, and you can concede 6 goals at home is not that idea, so yeah, it's really, really painful.
You played on Thursday night, pretty much the same team. You've got a lot of injuries at the moment. We had the manager in here a minute or so ago. Did you feel like energy running out of it was a big factor today?
Yeah, what can I say? There's, as a footballer, you always want to play. So, but that's what at the moment we got. So, yeah, we gotta just work hard and just recover as many as possible. So, but yeah, I don't want to make any excuses. So we were ready. So we were just running and we were just try to be as sharp as possible. So yeah.
How good a team are they?
Pardon?
How good a team are Liverpool?
Look, there's no question, you know, they're top of the league. You can see quality players and top discipline and I mean, there's a reason they're top of the league. So yeah, quality players, and if you give any mistake, they punish you. So yeah, very, very good side.
Do you feel like sometimes as well, with the way you play, how brave you are, the risks you take, every now and again, particularly with some injuries against top sides, there's a risk of something like that happening?
Yeah, football is always risky when you're also sitting back and you also sometimes concede so many goals, you know. So, yeah, this is just our play, our plan. So, yeah, we gotta just stick it together in a difficult time. So also in a good time. So, yeah, today was very, very painful. I know also the players, also the fans, and also the club. But as I said before, because it's coming game so quickly, so we gotta move together, give a nice feedback from each other, and also from the coaching staff. So, and you gotta just bounce back stronger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A snapshot of the dressing room. It's not going to be a very happy Christmas, is it, at the Spurs training ground? I suppose we've seen the extreme emotions from beating Man City 4-0, and then that there today.
Yeah, you know, it's really funny because sometimes you see a side get beat 6, and as a player you go, I'm embarrassed and all that. But we're not sitting there really picking holes in Tottenham. We're saying how good Liverpool were today. Do you know what I mean? You'll go home and you'll feel the pain of the 6. As he said, it's painful because no player wants to get beat 6. But
we could, couldn't we? We could pick holes in Spurs.
You could pick. What I'm saying is, it weren't one of those situations.
I think you have a little goal on that third goal.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, you know, when you go, that was really embarrassing. It was this, that, and the other. Well, I just thought Liverpool were that good. And so, as a Spurs player, yes, you don't want to get beat. No player wants to get beat 6, but you're not. I'm not sitting there going, well, they were embarrassed. They were this. I just thought Liverpool was so good, so.
Has he got a job to pick them up, Jamie, over Christmas?
Yeah, well, you're getting chin like that. Of course you have, but they've got to. It's a matter of fact. You just have to get up as quick as you can. You've got big games coming up. You're going to have to play Liverpool again. I don't think it'll be the same 11 that we've seen today. I think Liverpool will obviously change players, but yeah, it's not going to be easy for them, but that's your job.
More football debate to come.
Well, they do, but as you said, Liverpool knew that, they liked that, and they were prepared to go more than toe-to-toe with them today.
Well, exactly that. You get a sense, I mean, Tottenham have, certainly in my time, were like that as well. They used to be quite an aggressive team. They didn't mind mixing it with you. They always backed themselves. I think, Peter, you had some great games with Tottenham as well for Manchester United. In recent times, with the likes of Conte and Mourinho, they've gone back to more of a cautious mode, and not really a mode that Tottenham fans have enjoyed too much. And now they've gone full circle. And now whoever they play, it's like a shootout. You know, there's never a dull game with Tottenham. And it suited Liverpool. They've simply got a better team, a well-oiled team that all know what they're doing. So, you know, having a shoot-off and Liverpool looking at that and thinking, do we need to tactically change? You'd say, no, let's play them at their own game. We're too good for them. And that's what they did. And basically the shootout went the way we thought. Lots and lots of goals, but most of them for Liverpool. And it was, I thought it was half flattered Tottenham in the end. 6-3 sounds as if it was quite close, but Liverpool battered them. Really, it was one-sided right from the start. And I never ever thought that Liverpool were going to get beat or be under any pressure today.
OK, well, 9 goals, 6 of them to Liverpool. Let's talk to one of the goal scorers for Liverpool. Dominic Szoboszlai joins us live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Thanks for joining us, Dominic. I mean, goodness me, that was an incredible game to watch. What on earth was it like to play in?
I think it was even better to play than to watch. As I said before, it was really a good game for the fans who came to the stadium, saw 9 goals. But I think it was more happy for us because we took the 3 points.
And Mo Salah was talking there. There's no surprise to anybody how Tottenham play. So when you come to a ground like this today, unlike perhaps other fixtures, there's no surprise the way your opponents are going to come up against the game. And it looked as though that played into your hands at times.
Yeah, it was our plan. We knew it, that they're going to defend high. And that's why we took, actually, without a number 9, Lucho was a number 10 next to me. And he was dropping more to get the balls. And if no one follows him, then he can turn. But if someone follows him, then there's a big space behind, so I can get into the space and make a lot of difference.
Dominic, it's Michael Owen. Well played today. Just wanted to talk through your goal. What was going through your mind? Did you consider taking it first time, and then once you'd taken a touch, what were you thinking in terms of the finish? Was it just to hit the target, or did you see a little space between the goalkeeper's legs?
No. To be honest, I didn't see no space there. I just hope that Mo sees me. I took the touch inside and, hope for the best.
Yeah, and then you were later involved in another goal. Again, Mo Salah, you were returning the favour, let's say. You could have shot in this situation. I'm sure Mo Salah would have shot if he was you, but this was brilliant awareness to play the ball to Mo.
Yeah, that's the difference between us.
Yeah. I know how he feels. I don't know how you feel. I was selfish too.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for him as well. He gave me in the first half. I told him I'm going to give him back. So,
brilliant.
And for Arne Slot, I mean, he's only lost 1 game. You're top of the league at Christmas, 4 clear with a game in hand. I mean, in all honesty, you couldn't have dreamt of this situation.
I think everybody's dreaming of these situations, but we see many times that teams were in front of other teams and. It's still 6 months to go, so we are looking for the table a little bit, but also we are just taking care of ourselves, getting our points. Still 1 more game to go in front of the other teams. So yeah, we want to be as much in front as we could.
I know it's the same set of players, Dominic, but with the new manager tweaking things here and there, is it a surprise how quickly you've all taken it on board and the fantastic results in every competition that you've had?
Probably, actually, no one expected us to start so well. But he's believing in the team, we are believing in him, and I think we need the whole squad, and that we showed it many times. Doesn't matter who plays, we give our best on the pitch, Champions League, Cups, and in the Premier League as well. That's why we are at the top of the table and top of the Champions League.
Well, very well played today. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And he's one of the Liverpool goal scorers for you, live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That's the point, Peter, as well. When they play like they did today, they've got goals all over the pitch, haven't they?
I think Liverpool, in the last couple of years, they've had goals from everywhere, really. And that's been the strength of the team. It would be interesting to hear exactly what it is, the difference from last year to this year is, because they kind of look more solid.
Well, Michael used the word control, didn't he, before the game?
Yeah. They're still scoring the goals. They're still coming up with the chances like they did last season, but they kind of look a lot more solid. And we are at Christmas now. They're top of the league. They're in the semi-final of the League Cup. They're top of the league of the Champions League. I mean, that's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And now you're looking at it, you're thinking, yeah, this might just be that year, you know, where they can go and win all the big things. But when you look at the playing material, you think, well, it's not really like what Man City had in the last sort of, and still have, of course. They don't have like two teams, but still it's working out for them, and it's absolutely impressive. What they did today was fantastic. What they did, they came out and they knew how Tottenham were going to play, and they absolutely exposed them at their home turf. They humiliated them, and rightly so. You said before, it could have been a lot more, and it should have been a lot more. But I mean, I'm now beginning to think that Liverpool can actually go all the way, and it, yeah.
Said it through gritted teeth there, Peter.
No, honestly, I would love Man United to win the league. We're nowhere near that. But I really like.
And you'd
good
wake up from
football,
that dream at the moment, Peter.
I like good football when there's an element of risk, but also, to use your word, control. So when you combine the two of them with good players, you end up with having good football and entertaining football. You don't have to go. I mean, today I think Tottenham, the way they approached the game was just a little bit silly. You know, they're just giving a lot of space away that they didn't have to give away. That kind of football might be enjoyable. It's not enjoyable for Tottenham fans today, but Liverpool's way of playing is quite entertaining. And you know, you combine those two things, you know, you never know what it can. And it was not gritted teeth. It was like, what a big smile.
Well done.
But from Spurs' point of view, 9 minutes into the second half, at 3-1, they concede the first goal of the second half, and then they were chasing. And when you've got Mo Salah, you've got a chance of winning the league, haven't you, Jermaine?
Yeah, and obviously, the next goal was always going to be important. But again, transition. Tottenham are just sort of like all over the place. And yeah, I mean, Liverpool, I mean, it's just the timing of the movement, you know, making the right decisions at the right moments, just really clinical. And a lot of the goals, they look quite easy, but then it's the weight of the pass, then it's the connection. Here, you see the weight of the pass here. It's the right timing, just keeps himself one side. And there are a lot of players who make the wrong decision. But, you know, he goes across goal, gets fortunate, gets lucky, but it's because they make the right decisions all the time. And that's why they score so many goals.
And they have the numbers as well.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. You have a certain element of control, but you're also taking risks. You're committing 5 players to go forward.
And then this was the one we saw.
Yeah, I like this goal. I mean, any young centre-forward wanting to score goals, just have a look at it. It's a tiny thing, but Mo Salah here, I mean, he's left-footed. He could have swept it in with his left foot, but I just thought I'd make a point of it. Here, he's got to really find that corner. If he goes left foot, you watch how close the goalkeeper gets when he hits his right foot. He buys himself about an extra metre in the goal there by letting it come across, because he opens the angle more. If he hits it early, he keeps the angle closed and the goalkeeper gets it. And he's got to really be precise. Lets it come across his body, that then opens the goal a lot more. So just a tiny little thing. But as Jermaine just said there, goal scoring is about tiny matters. And if you equate it to numbers, then you're giving yourself a far better chance of scoring a goal by making the right decisions. And you have a look at this graphic now that he's just entered the big league with some of the greats of all time, obviously, with Liverpool, and he's not slowing down, is he?
Well, he's gone to all-time 4th today, as you can see, in the list. On to 229. But that last column is interesting, Michael. He is the fastest to any total. His minutes per goal is better than everybody else on that list.
Yeah, and that's the hard bit to equate, though, isn't it? Because all of those players are from a totally different generation. So it's very difficult to say when it was harder or easier to score goals. Even my generation to this generation now, it's quite difficult to say, right, well, who's the best and who's this from 10, 20 years ago. So it's quite difficult to do that, but numbers don't lie. I mean, it's quite easy to say that he's one of the all-time greats already for Liverpool. And as I say, he's not slowing down, he's not stopping. If he signs a new contract, then he'll be in the top 3 in no time, and then maybe one day even threatening the Ian Rush record. I never thought I'd say that.
No. Just to put it into context for my good friend, he's 9th. Only 8 people in the history of Liverpool Football Club have scored more goals.
Why didn't you put me on the list then?
Because the producer said top 5.
Right.
Nothing to do with me. I asked for top 9, but it wasn't there. Okay. Anyway, 158 goals later for Liverpool. Right, here is the Liverpool manager who seemingly can do no wrong. Just one defeat since walking through the door at Anfield. Arne Slot.
Said before the match, might be a crazy one. It was. Did you like almost everything you saw?
Yeah, almost indeed. First 50, 55 minutes is, I think, what you want, except for the goal we conceded, because if you have so much dominance and you might have gone in at halftime with a 2-1 lead, that would probably not have done justice to the quality we brought today. Then 3-1 up, and it ended up being 5-1. Yeah, and then I think we all saw that we thought it was enough, and therefore Tottenham has far too much quality. If you're not every second of the game on top of them, they are able to create and score.
I know in your preparations, because you said beforehand, you've watched a lot of their games against the best sides and the biggest clubs, so you'll know no one else has done that to them. How did you do it?
Yeah, I think I said similar things before the game, that that in the games they've lost here against the bigger teams, that they were always very close to a result and maybe deserved something more than they got. I think today it was clear that we deserved to win. So that was a very good performance for a large part of the game, except for the 15 to 20 minutes where we thought we didn't have to run anymore, and then in that period of time we conceded two.
Yeah, has that really annoyed you? Has it taken the gloss off, that last bit?
A bit. It's also a good warning for us to understand that if we're on top of our game, it's very, very difficult for every team to play against us. But that is our strength. It's not only the quality, and that maybe is useful this 15 minutes, because the same players with the same quality, they don't run the same anymore, and then we can concede too. But you can say this so many times. Unfortunately, it didn't hurt us today, but in other moments it could.
So, I mean, you're a big fan of Ange Postecoglou and what they do, but in terms of your plan beforehand and how it was then executed, where were the opportunities for you today? Where was the space?
I think against every team there is an opportunity, because if they press 9 and 10, you have 3v2 in midfield. If they go 7, 9, 11, you have to bring maybe a defender in the midfield to have an overload. If they go man for man, which they did with the third goal, then maybe if you win a duel, there's only one player necessary to outplay someone and you have an extra man. So it doesn't matter which team you face, there's always an opportunity, but there's always a threat as well. And I think that's also what you saw today, because they have a lot of quality players. They have a very good idea about football. If you give them a bit of space, they can hurt you so much. And I'm not a fan in that sense of the word of Ange, but I like his playing style. I like what he does, and I'm not one of the guys or one of the people that think he deserves criticism for what he does, because he's at a club where normally every club has a chance to win something, but they don't win that much in the last 15 to 20 years here. But what he does do is always enjoying the fans. Maybe not today, but in general he does.
I know these questions about Mo Salah and Trent, Virgil as well, always sound a bit loaded, but particularly with the first two, like how good were they today? How good have they been throughout your time? And we are talking about World 11 players here, aren't we?
Yeah, we do. Otherwise, you don't play for Liverpool. So they should be one of the best players in the world, or close to that. Otherwise, you don't play for such a big club. So that's clear. They were outstanding today, especially if you look at most numbers: 2 goals, 2 assists. It wasn't that every other ball he touched was as brilliant as the 2 goals and the 2 assists, but he played a very good game if you come up with 2 goals, 2 assists. And with Trent, the focus might again be on the great cross he gave, and with the first goal and some other moments. But I think playing against Son is not always easy, because he's a threat, and he defended him for almost the whole game very, very, very well.
Since you first walked in, has he really upped that part of his game, Trent, the defensive side?
Yeah, I think he increased a bit, but there are still moments where I think he can do better. So I said it, I think, before the game. Newcastle, half hour he came in. City, he was outstanding. Fulham was okay, but for his standards, not top. But today he was, again, of the level that he played against City and Newcastle.
So top at Christmas, how significant is that? You're getting towards that halfway point where you said it makes a bit more sense to look at the league table.
Yeah, it shows you that we have a very good team, of course. Still, three games to go for us, halfway. But if you can go here and play the game we did, then we are definitely a hard team and a difficult team to beat, and that's what we've shown till now. But yeah, this game also showed that you can lose your momentum in 10 to 15 minutes, let alone if you go for maybe 2 or 3 games with that intensity that we had in that 10 or 15 minutes. So if it was easy to win the league, everybody would do it, and it isn't, because you have to be on top of your game every second that you play in the Premier League, and a long way to go.
Thanks, Arne. Enjoy your Christmas.
Thank you, you too.
Well, there is, but if he maintains the recent consistency, 10 wins and 2 draws from the last 12 in all competitions, they certainly won't be far away. His standards is interesting, though. When we spoke to him after the City game, he alluded to that as well, as delighted as you can hear him there. For 10 minutes, we stopped running, we conceded 2 goals.
Yeah, and it shows what can happen. But as I say, I take that with a pinch of salt in that they won't stop running. If they were playing against Arsenal today and it was 1-1 or 0-0, they wouldn't stop running. But it was a strange game today. You wouldn't look at Liverpool and say, oh, that's the way they play today. There was far less control, I guess, than what we've been used to. But that was down to the opposition. I mean, he's so impressive. Whatever he says, I'm clinging on to every word, listening to him. He thinks about it. He says it with an assurance, a calmness. He's top class, I think. And Liverpool fans, if you had asked them, after Jurgen Klopp, the highs of Jurgen Klopp, everybody thought, it can only go one way, but it's actually not. It's a continuation of brilliance.
Interesting. Let's go back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Michael's former teammate, Danny Murphy, waiting to speak to us. Good to see you, Dan. I mean, I guess that was a privilege to be in the stadium for that crazy game, wasn't it?
You get to see it, don't you, firsthand, when you hear the speed of Liverpool's play, the quality, the running power that you were talking about. I mean, it was an advantage for Liverpool, I suppose, that 5 or 6 of them didn't even travel midweek and Tottenham had the same 11, but the quality is there, the gap is obvious. Brilliant performance, and they were never really in any trouble.
And how clinical were they?
Well, the Liverpool front players are such a threat. They're all at it at the moment. They all look a threat. But Salah doesn't matter whether he's playing well or not. His end product's unbelievable. He picks the right pass. He's there to put one in on the back post, tap. He's always in the right place at the right time. But I thought Diaz was outstanding. He doesn't stop, and he's got that game intelligence where he can play in that little deeper role as a 10, false 9, whatever you want to call it. And they've got options because Jota's back. Don't get me wrong. I thought Tottenham helped them massively in the first half. I mean, the positional play I don't know what he was trying to do with Kulusevski and Son, because Trent and Robertson were getting 2v1s all the time down the sides, hence the first 2 goals coming from it. And he was right. I was right behind Ange, and he couldn't see it. It was so obvious. Trent was having a field day. So they absolutely took advantage of it, and could have been 10, could have been 12.
Murph, it's Mo. I hope you're well, mate. Just watching the game, looking at the potential hurdles, let's say, for Liverpool. Do you see any? I mean, Manchester City probably blowing it already, so it's looking like Arsenal and Chelsea. But is it Liverpool that have to beat themselves now? Can you see them dropping away in any way? It looks pretty easy for them at the moment to me.
I think the only concern would be Virgil and Mo. Salah's the most reliable in terms of goals and assists, and I think Virgil is the kingpin at the back. I mean, they haven't been quite as watertight since Konaté's got the injury, although Gomez, I thought, did well today. But if those two were to have a problem, then you could potentially, maybe. Other than that, they look fit, they look sharp, they've got competition for places, the bench is good, they can buy in January if they want, 1 or 2 maybe, reinforcements. And I think, although, I agree with you, I don't think City are in it. I think Arsenal are probably the strongest contender, even though Chelsea are second at the moment. And I think even Chelsea, really, defensively, they still look like they can concede goals when I've seen them play. I think Liverpool are in a great chance, Mo. They've got it in their own hands to a degree, and their home form as well. I mean, really, really strong at home, which is key as well. But I don't see, come the last couple of weeks of the season, Liverpool not being in it at least.
That's one of your former clubs. It's interesting to hear you saying you sat right behind Ange Postecoglou today then. Where are we with Spurs? Are we at a point where there has to be a proper sort of post-mortem investigation here, or do we just accept that it isn't going to change and that's what we're going to see?
I struggle with it. I'm really struggling. I'm a bit like, same as Carragher's opinion the other day. You can't play that way where it's just when you've got the ball. When they haven't got the ball, I can't see what they're trying to do. Some of it's man for man, some of it's positional. Honestly, I was lost. And at one point, you've just got to make some decisions on the pitch to stop the avalanche of chances. And the first half, it was non-stop. And he didn't do anything. And the players didn't take responsibility. I mean, I don't understand why any of the players weren't saying to Son, look, Trent's running the game. He's dictating play. He's running past you. He's getting loads of possession. At least stay with him for 10 minutes. Nobody does anything. They'll have games where they destroy teams. The other thing is, when they go a goal down here, the anxiety, you could sense it. Their confidence was drained from the players. And when they go a goal up, it's the opposite. They really go after teams and everyone wants the ball. But I don't see how it can keep going. The fans were on the edge today at one point. When it went to 5, if there'd have been another and they hadn't responded, this place would have emptied.
Murph, it's JD. So do you think the gaffer's got to take full responsibility? Because we can talk about, obviously, you know, they concede a lot of goals and, you know, going forward they're good in that. But at some stage, surely players as well, you have to take responsibility as players and show that sort of like that football personality. But do you feel like the manager has to take full responsibility in terms of how they play?
I think it's always a balance, JD. There's a certain type of player that takes responsibility on the pitch, irrelevant to the manager's message. And I don't see too much of that going on. You know, even the other night against Man U, he can't be shouting on every 5 minutes to the keeper when to kick it and when to play out. That's got to be down to some of the players' responsibilities and leadership. I agree with you. But ultimately, he sets the tone, doesn't he? He sets the tone for the way they play. And I think it's not about offensively. They're great to watch. But defensively, in certain games, it's not every game. Sometimes they're okay because they've got the ball a lot and their confidence is up. But I mean, against good teams, they're going to get ripped apart because we've all played the game. We know if you want to go man for man, you have to have super fit players who can run all day and be concentrated for 90 minutes and play weekend, midweek. It's nearly impossible.
Yeah. Murph, thank you very much indeed. Great to see you.
Cheers, chaps. Stay warm in that studio, won't you?